Meet the guy they've hired to replace me at work.
Oh, hey guys. I was eating a taco earlier and I got salsa on my shirt, so I went to clean it off, but then when I put my hands in the automatic dryer, I forgot I was still holding the taco. I got my hands all greasy, so I couldn't open the doorknob for an hour. What you guys talking about?
Gnosis is found wherever Sophia walks and is not dependent upon any school of thought.
So that sexual energy is deposited within ourselves. That's where our vitality, our creative energy is there.
Mind, body, and spirit, what we call today the three major divisions of philosophical thinking. Right. Basically, what this is depicting is the person who has self-realization unifies his body, mind, and spirit in such a way that he or she can ascend through the various dimensions of psychic exploration, spiritual creativity, and even in the worlds of science and knowledge as depicted in the book, Understand Astronomy and Cosmology, of other worlds we would call today parallel evolution. Right. You can be Christed if you find the feminine. If you do not find the feminine within you, you can be tormented by a judgmental God or a system of belief that suppresses the inner psyche.
Greetings, fellow worker slaves, podcasting at 128 kilobits from the Fortress of Squalitude, not far from the Redneck Mecca. This is the Atheist in the Trailer Park podcast. I'm your host, Tucker. Professor Fuzznuts is licking his namesakes, Ash is wishing he still had his, and the new cat is lurking in the shadows, no doubt plotting my untimely demise. Yes, it's a podcast hosted by a guy and his cats. Get over it. This is a Pistis Sophia episode where Skullbeard and I read a few chapters from the Pistis Sophia. Next episode will be a news episode. As you can no doubt guess from the opening sting, the temp they've brought in isn't exactly a stellar employee. I also don't think he's going to make it long enough for me to go to day shift. Hopefully they'll bring in someone else here soon, but I'm not overly optimistic of this. I knew that the guy wasn't the brightest fellow in the world, but up until the other night, I thought that he'd at least be able to do the job. Then something happened which pretty much convinced me that there's no way he'll be able to do it. Hopefully this will make sense when I explain it. When we unload the racks of meat from the ovens, some of them need a slight adjustment before we can pull them out. It's never obvious which ones are going to need that adjustment before you try and pull on them. Now the new guy, I'll call him Todd, has assisted me in pulling the racks out, but he's never done it himself. The other night, I let him try his hand at doing so. One of the racks he tried to pull was one of the ones that you have to adjust before you can move it. He tries to pull it, can't get it to move, so I make the adjustment and then tell him to move it. He doesn't understand me, so I spend a couple of minutes telling him to move the rack. Finally, he realizes what I'm saying and tries to move the rack. And when it does, he stands there and goes, "Whoa! How did it do that?" That's literally what he said. I can understand him not realizing that a rack needed to be adjusted before it can be moved. I can understand him not realizing that I'm telling him to move it, since it can be hard to hear inside the ovens. But his reaction when the rack moved? Well, given that this wasn't the first time we've unloaded an oven, and he's seen me make that adjustment when I've been the one pulling on the racks, and that the adjustment's not really a big deal, I just move a part of the rack, I think that kind of makes me think he's a bit dimmer than I thought. In other news, Dan O'Con is coming up later this month, and I hope I'll see some of you there, since this is most likely the only atheist convention I'll be able to attend this year. I'll have a link to the website for it in the show notes for this episode. I do have a bit of good news as well. We got our annual bonus this past week, and while not a spectacular amount, it was about the size of an average paycheck for me, so I won't have any worries about eating into my savings, thanks to having a week off later this month. The only other bit of news I've got, and this is actually kind of concerning, is Ash is sick. I got him to the vet Saturday morning, and they gave me antibiotics and steroids for him. but they don't seem to be working. It's hard for me to tell how he's feeling, not simply because he's a cat, but because of the kind of cat he is. I mean, he just hangs out on my bed all day, or if I pick him up and bring him into the living room, that's where he hangs out, on the couch. So, it's not really easy to tell if he's sick, because, his activity level doesn't really change. But Saturday morning, he was curled up on my bedroom floor, and I'm like, you never do that. And he'd been sneezing a little bit prior to this, not an excessive amount, but enough that I was thinking, well, maybe he's got a cold or something. And with him not moving, him being curled up on the floor, I knew there was something wrong. So I called the vet as soon as they opened and said, I need to get this cat looked at. I took him, got him looked at, and they said, yeah, he's definitely got something. And while it's the same vet's office I go to, it's a different vet than I've seen before. And the vets that I've seen in the past, whenever I've brought them Ash or Fuzznuts or Buttons or some other cat that was ill, they would, shoot them full of steroids and antibiotics before they gave them back to me, even if they gave me medication to take home with him. This one didn't do that. She just gave me the meds and said, here you go, give him these, and we'll, see how that goes. So, he's gotten these dosages, but I'm not seeing any real improvement in his condition, which has me concerned. They ran tests for the really serious stuff like FIV, feline leukemia, and a few other things that they didn't run when I brought him in the first time after I found him. And he, those all came back negative. So he should be, so it shouldn't be anything really serious, but he's definitely not feeling well, and I'm not noticing any improvement. But it may be one of those things that just takes a while for this stuff to kick in. I hope that's all it is. He is such a sweet cat, and he's pretty, and he's a big cat, and I don't want to have to dig a giant hole to bury him in the yard. That'll be rough. Okay, I know I said that was the only other news, but there may be a few things floating around in my noggin here. Just a second. Oh, yes, I remember now. And this one is actually kind of important, I suppose. If you're friends with me or follow me on Facebook, you will have noticed that in the very recent days, my posting has dropped dramatically. There's a reason for this. Facebook has made some changes to its system. I now no longer see anything I want to see. If I go into a group that I'm fairly active in, instead of showing me the newest posts in that group, it shows me what it calls the top posts. These consist of either posts I've already seen and don't have any interest in, for whatever reason, or my own posts that nobody's bothered to respond to. If I try and change it to, new posts or most recent posts, it'll load 2 posts and then just stall out. When I scroll through my most recent news feed, because that's what I want to see, things that are happening now, not something somebody posted like 3 days ago, because it's usually out of date. I get, a dozen or so posts down, and then suddenly it's shit that was posted by somebody hours ago, like 16 hours ago or more. And, I have nearly 5,000 friends on Facebook. I find it hard to believe that in that amount of time, nobody's posted anything. So it's like, well, if I can't see the shit I want to see, why use it? And there's been some other issues I've had with it that I am going to address in a future episode on the topic. I mentioned in the last episode, so I'm trying to line up some interviews for the week that I'm off, but I don't know if I'll be able to do that. I haven't heard back from most people. I've got one lined up, but that's it. messaged a couple other people and said, hey, you want to come on and, talk about this or that? And they're either otherwise engaged that week or I haven't heard back from them. So we'll see how it goes. So I think, there may be a change in a couple of cases. We'll just have to see. But I am going to do a really deep dive about Facebook one of these days here shortly, because it's fairly obvious to me that something is going on behind the scenes, and it's probably not very good. So, and unfortunately can't completely abandon the platform because so many people are active on it and do use it. But I can cut back on what I do. I can alter what I do. And that's what I'm going to do until, everybody decides to migrate somewhere else. With all that out of the way, let's get to Skullbeard and I reading from more of the Pistis Sophia. Not really anything remarkable about this, other than I think one or two dead people show up, or people you'd think were dead show up. So here we go.
Chapter 69. It came to pass then, drink! When the first mystery had finished saying these words unto his disciples, that Thomas came forward and said, My Lord, my light dweller hath ears, and my mind hath understood the words which thou hast said. Now therefore give commandment unto me to set forth clearly the solution of the words. And the first mystery answered and said unto Thomas, I give thee commandment to set forth the solution of the song which Pistis Sophia sang unto me. Thomas answered and said, My Lord, concerning the song which Pistis Sophia hath uttered, because she was saved out of the chaos, thy light power prophesied aforetime thereon through Solomon, the son of David, in his odes.
I am saved from the bonds, and I am fled unto thee, O Lord. For thou hast been on my right hand, saving me and helping me. Whole rug and tug situation. Thou hast hindered my adversaries, and they have not been revealed, because thy face was with me, saving me in thy grace. So God's a face mask?
Could be. Well, I don't know. They're all about saving face and shit. Yeah. I was despised in the sight of many and cast out. I have become as lead in their sight. As lead? Okay. Through thee I have gotten a power which helped me, for thou hast set lamps on my right and on my left, so that no side of me may be without light. Thou hast overshadowed me with the shadow of thy grace, and I was relieved of the coats of skin.
It is thy right hand which raised me up, and thou hast taken the sickness from me. Well, as you can tell from the sound of my voice, no, he hasn't. I have become powerful in thy truth and purified in thy righteousness. My adversaries have withdrawn themselves from me, and I am justified by thy goodness, for thy rest endureth unto all eternity.
This then, my Lord, is the solution of the repentance which Pistis Sophia hath uttered when she was saved out of the chaos. Hearken therefore, that I may say it in openness. The word then, which thy light power hath spoken through Solomon, I am saved from the bonds and am fled unto thee, O Lord. It is the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken. I am loosed from the bonds of the darkness, and am come unto thee, O light. Phrasing.
Yep.
And the word which thy power hath spoken, thou wert on my right hand, saving and helping me. It is again the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken, thou art become a light on all sides of me, saving me and helping me.
And the word which thy light power hath spoken, thou hast hindered my adversaries, and they have not been revealed. It is the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken, and the emanations of self-willed which fought against me, thou hast hindered through with thy light, and they could not come nigh for me. And the word which thy power hath spoken, thy face was with me, saving me in thy grace. It is the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken. Thy light was with me, saving me in thy light stream. Wow. This is just the same shit over and over again.
Are they having a lightsaber battle or something?
Yes, or something. And the word which thy power hath spoken, I was despised in the sight of many and cast out. It is the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken.
And the emanations of self-willed constrained me and took my power from me, and I have been despised before them and out into the chaos with no light in me. And the word which thy power hath spoken, I have become as lead in their sight. They're not metal. It is the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken. When they had taken my light from me, I became as heavy weighing matter before them. And moreover, the word which thy power hath spoken, through thee I have gotten a power for me which helped me. It is again the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken, and thereafter came a light power unto me through thee which saved me.
And the word which thy power hath spoken, thou hast set lamps on my right and on my left, so that no one side of me may be without light. It is the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken. The power shone on my right and on my left, and surrounded me on all sides of me, so that no part of me was without light. And the word which thy power hath spoken.
Thou hast overshadowed me with the shadow of thy grace. It is again the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken. And thou hast covered me with the light of the stream. Okay. And the word which thy power hath spoken, I was relieved of the coats of skin. It is again the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken, and they have purified me of all my evil matters, and I raised myself above them in thy light. And the word which thy spoken power hath spoken through Solomon, it is thy right hand which hath raised me up and hath taken the sickness from me. This sounds oddly familiar.
Yeah.
It is the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken, it is thy light stream which hath raised me up in thy light and hath taken from me the emanations of self-willed which constrained me.
And go ahead.
No, I'm just saying this is redundant and repetitive and redundant.
Yeah. And the word which thy power hath spoken, I have become powerful in thy truth and purified in thy righteousness. It is the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken, I have become powerful in thy light and purified light in thy stream. And the word which thy power hath spoken, my adversaries have withdrawn themselves from me. It is the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken. Did we not just read that? The emanations of self-willed which constrain me have withdrawn themselves from me. And the word which thy power hath spoken through Solomon, and I am justified in thy goodness, for thy rest endureth unto all eternity. It is the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken, I am saved in thy goodness, for thou savest every one. This then, O my Lord, is the whole solution of the repentance which Pistis Sophia hath uttered when she was saved out of the chaos and loosened from the bonds of the darkness.
I'm going to call bullshit on that, but whatever. Yeah. It came to pass then, drink, when the first mystery was had heard Thomas say these words, that he said unto them, Well said, finally, Thomas, blessed one, this is the solution of the song which Pistis Sophia hath uttered. And the first mystery continued again and said unto the disciples, And Pistis Sophia continued and sang praises unto me, saying, I sing a song unto thee, through thy commandment hast thou led me down out of the higher aeon which is above, and hast led me up to the regions which are below.
And again, through thy commandment thou hast saved me out of the regions which are below, and through thee hast thou taken there the matter in my light powers, and I have seen it. And thou hast scattered far from me the emanations of self-willed which constrained me and were hostile to me, and hast bestowed power on me to loose myself from the bonds of the emanations of Adamas. And thou hast smitten the basilisk with the 7 heads, and cast it out with my hands, and hast set me above its matter. Thou hast destroyed it, so that its seed may not raise itself up from now on.
Okay, sure. And thou wert with me, giving me power in all this, thy light rounded in all regions, and through thee hast thou made all the emanations of self-willed powerless. For thou hast taken the power of their light from them, and made straight my way to lead me out of the chaos. And thou hast removed me from the material darkness, and taken from them all my powers, from which the light had been taken. I might as well take the next one too.
Yeah.
Thou hast put into them purified light, and unto all my limbs, in which no light, hast thou given purified light from the light of the height.
And thou hast made straight the way for them, my limbs, and the light of thy face hath become for me life indestructible. Thou hast led me forth above the chaos, the reign of chaos and extermination, in order that all the matters in it which are in that region might be unloosened, and all my powers be renewed in thy light, and thy light be in them all. Thou hast deposited the light of thy stream in me. And I am become purified light. This again is the second song which Pistis Sophia hath uttered. Who then hath understood this repentance? Let him come forward and speak. Oh, why don't you all just shut the fuck up, huh?
Yeah, that would be a viable plan, I think. It came to pass then, drink. When the first mystery had finished saying these words, that Matthew came forward and said, I have understood the solution of the song which Pistis Sophia hath uttered. Now therefore give commandment unto me that I speak it in openness. And the first mystery answered and said, I give commandment unto thee, Matthew, to set forth the interpretation of the song which Pistis Sophia hath uttered. And Matthew answered and said, concerning the interpretation of the song which Pistis Sophia hath uttered, thus thy light power prophesied aforetime thereon through the Ode of Solomon. If you can't dazzle them with your brilliance.
Yeah, baffle them with your bullshit. He who hath led me down out of the higher regions which are above, hath led me up out of the regions which are in the bottom below. Who hath there taken those in the midst? He hath taught me concerning them. Who hath scattered my foes and my adversaries? He hath bestowed power on me over the bonds to unloose them.
Who hath smitten the serpent with the 7 heads with my hands? He hath set me up above its root, that I may extinguish its seed. And thou wert with me, helping me in all regions. Thy name surrounded me. Thy right hand hath destroyed the venom of the slanderer. Thy hand hath cleared the way for thy faithful.
Thou hast freed them out of the tombs, and hast removed them from the midst of the corpses. Thou hast taken dead Thou hast taken dead bones, and hast clothed them with a body, and to them who stirred not hast thou given the activity of life. Thy way is become indestructibleness, and thy face also.
Cool. I wish I had an indestructible face. Thou hast led thy eon above decay, so that all may be loosed and renewed, that thy light become a foundation for them all. Thou hast plied thy riches upon them, and they have become a holy dwelling place. This then, my lord, is the solution of the song which Pistis Sophia hath uttered. Hearken, therefore, that I may say it in openness.
Damn it. I found it. The word which, or at least I think I found it, with repetitions it may be different. The word which thy power hath spoken through Solomon, who hath led me down out of the higher regions which are above. He hath also led me up out of the regions which are in the bottom of the below. Now, I fucking just read that. It is the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken. I sing praises unto thee. Through thy commandment hast thou led me down out of this higher aeon, which is above, and hast led me to the regions below. And again, through thy commandment thou hast saved me, and led me up out of the regions which are below. Okay. And the word which thy power hath spoken through Solomon, who hath there taken those in the midst, and hath taught me concerning them, it is the word which Pistis Sophia hath taken. And again, through thy commandment hast thou caused the matter in the midst of my power to be purified, and I have seen it. And moreover, the word which thy power hath spoken through Solomon, who hath scattered my foes and my adversaries, it is the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken. Thou hast scattered far from me all the emanations of self-willed, which constrained me and were hostile to me.
And the word which thy power hath spoken, who hath bestowed on me wisdom over the bonds to unloose them, it is the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken, and he hath bestowed on me wisdom to loose myself from the bonds of these emanations. And the word which thy power hath spoken, who hath smitten the serpent with the 7 heads with my hands, he hath set me up above its root that I may extinguish its seed. It is the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken, and thou hast smitten the serpent with the 7 heads through my hands, and set me up above its matter. Thou hast destroyed it, so that its seed may not raise itself up from now on. And the word which thy power hath spoken, and thou wert with me, helping me, it is the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken, and thou wert with me, giving me power in all this. Like, could you really get any more redundant and repetitive?
And the word which thy power hath spoken, apparently they could. And thy name surrounded me in all regions. It is the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken, and thy light surrounded me in all their regions. And the word which thy power hath spoken, and thy right hand hath destroyed the venom of the slanderers. It is the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken, and through thee the emanations of self-willed power became powerless, for thou hast taken from them the light of their power, and the word which thy power hath spoken.
Thy hand hath cleared the way for thy faithful. It is the word that Pistis Sophia hath spoken. Thou hast made me straight. Thou hast made straight my way to lead me out of the chaos, because I have had faith in thee. And the word which thy power hath spoken, thou hast freed them out of the tombs, and hast removed them from the midst of the corpses. It is the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken. Thou hast freed me out of the chaos, and removed me out of the material darkness, that is, out of the dark emanations which are in the chaos, from which thou hast taken their light. And the word which thy power hath spoken, thou hast taken dead bones, and hast clothed them with a body, and to them who stirred not thou hast given activity of life. It is the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken. And thou hast taken all my powers, in which was no light, and hath bestowed on them within purified light, and unto all my limbs, in which no light stirred, thou hast given life light out of thy height.
Okay. I mean, this just sounds like the past 5 paragraphs that we've read, but whatever. And the word which thy power hath spoken, the way is become indestructibleness, and thy face also. This sounds like the last chapter we just read. It is thy word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken, and thou hast made straight thy way for me, and the light of thy face hath become for me life indestructible. Why do we have to say this 45 fucking times? Why? Why?
It's basic indoctrination.
I guess.
Or propaganda. A lie repeated often enough becomes the truth.
And the word which thy power hath spoken, thou hast led thy aeon above decay, so that all might be loosened and renewed. It is the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken, thou hast led me, thy power, up above the chaos and above decay. that all the matters in that region may be loosened, and all my powers renewed in the light.
And the word which thy powers hath spoken, and thy light hath become foundation for them all. That is the word which Sophia hath spoken, and thy light hath been in all. And the word which thy light power hath spoken through Solomon, thou hast put thy riches over him, and he hath become a holy dwelling place. It is the... Okay. Took a moment for that one to sink in. It is the word which Pistis Sophia hath spoken. Thou hast stayed the light of thy stream over me, and I have become a purified light. This then, my lord, is the solution of the song which Pistis Sophia hath uttered.
Oh boy.
How does one get to be a holy dwelling place? That sounds kind of...
Yeah. It came to pass, then, drink, when the first mystery had heard Matthew speak these words, that he said, Well said, Matthew, and finally, beloved. This is the solution of the song which Pistis Sophia hath uttered. And the first mystery continued again, and said, I will declare, thou art the higher light, for that hast saved me, and led me unto thee, and thou hast not let the emanations of self-willed which are hostile unto me take my light.
O light of lights, I sing praises unto thee, thou hast saved me. O light, thou hast led up my power out of the chaos, thou hast saved me from them which have gone down into the darkness. Wow. These words again hath Pistis Sophia uttered. Now therefore, whose mind hath become understanding, comprehending the words which Pistis Sophia hath uttered, let him come forward and set forth their solution. It came to pass then, drink, when the first mystery had finished speaking these words unto the disciples, that Mary came forward and said, My Lord, my mind is ever understanding, at every time to come forward and set forth the solution of the words which she hath uttered. But I am afraid of Peter, because he threatened me and hateth our sex.
All right. What a jerk, Peter.
Yeah, exactly.
And when she had said this, the first mystery said unto her, Everyone who shall be filled with the Spirit of light to come forward and set forth the solution of what I say, no one shall be able to prevent them. Now, therefore, O Mary, set forth then the solution of the words which Pistis Sophia hath uttered. Then Mary answered and said, Under the first mystery in the midst of the disciples, my Lord, concerning the solution of the words which Pistis Sophia hath uttered, thus hath thy light power prophesied aforetime through David. I will exalt thee, O Lord, for thou hast received me, and thou hast not made glad my foes over me. O Lord, my God, I cried up unto thee, and thou hast healed me. O Lord, thou hast led up my soul out of hell. Thou hast saved me from them which have gone down into the pit. Why is it that Mary gets the shortest chapter?
I would guess it's because she's a woman or something.
Could be.
And when Mary had said this, the first mystery said unto her, Well said finally, Mary, blessed one. And he continued again in the discourse and said unto the disciples, Sophia again continued in this song and said, The light hath become my Saviour, and it hath changed my darkness into light, and it has rent the chaos which surrounded me and girded me with light. It came to pass then, drink, when the first mystery had finished saying these words, that Martha came forward and said, My Lord, thy power hath prophesied aforetime through David concerning these words.
The Lord hath become my helper. He hath changed my lamentations into joy. He hath rent my mourning robe and girded me with joy. And it came to pass, when the first mystery had heard Martha speak these words, that he said, Well said, and finally, Martha.
Looks like they skipped a bunch of text there.
Yeah, I know.
And the first mystery continued again and said unto the disciples, Pistis Sophia again continued in the song and said, my power, sing praises to the light, and forget not all the powers of the light which it hath given unto me. And the powers which are in thee sing praises to the name of his holy mystery, who forgiveth all thy transgression, which saveth thee from all the afflictions with which the emanations of self-willed have constrained thee.
Who hath saved thy light from the emanations of self-willed, which belong to destruction? Who hath wreathed thee with light in his compassion, until he saved thee? Who hath filled thee with purified light, and thy beginning will renew itself as an invisible of the height? With these words, Pistis Sophia sang praises, because she was saved and remembered all things which I had done for her. Oh, man.
I know, I described this earlier today as mind-numbingly boring due to the repetition, yet batshit insane.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's something. It came to pass then, drink, when the first mystery had finished, setting forth these words unto the disciples, that he said unto them, who hath understood the solution of these words, let him come forward and say it in openness. Mary again came forward and said, my Lord, concerning these words, with which Pistis Sophia hath sung praises, thus thy light power prophesied them through David. My soul, praise the Lord. Let all that is in me praise his holy name.
My soul, praise the Lord, and forget not all his requitals. Who forgiveth all thy iniquities, who healeth all thy sicknesses, who redeemeth thy life from decay, who wreatheth thee with grace and compassion.
Who satisfieth? That's a great word. Who satisfieth thy longing with good things, thy youth will renew itself as an eagle's. That is, Sophia will be as the invisibles who are in the height, who hath before said, as an eagle, because the dwelling place of the eagle is in the height, and the invisibles are also in the height, that is, Pistis Sophia will shine as the invisibles, as she was from the beginning. It came to pass then, drink, when the first mystery had heard Mary say these words, that he said, well said, Mary, blessed one.
It came to pass, drink, then, thereafter, that the first mystery continued again in the discourse, and said unto the disciples, I took Pistis Sophia, and led her up to a region which is below the 13th aeon, and gave unto her a new mystery of the light, which is not that of her aeon, the region of the invisibles. And moreover, I gave her a song of the light, so that from now on the rulers of the aeons could not prevail against her. And I removed her to that region until I should come after her and bring her to her higher region. It came to pass then, when I had removed her to that region, that she again uttered this song thus.
In faith have I had faith in the light, and it remembered me and hearkened to my song. It hath led my power up out of the chaos and the nether darkness of the whole matter, and it hath led me up. It hath removed me to a higher and surer aeon, lofty and firm. It hath changed my place on the way which leadeth to my region. Which region is that? And it hath given unto me a new mystery, which is not that of my aeon, and given unto me a song of the light. Now therefore, O light, all the rulers will see what thou hast done unto me, and be afraid, and have faith in the light.
The song then Pistis Sophia uttered, rejoicing that she had been led up out of the chaos, and brought to the regions which are below the 13th aeon. Now therefore let him whom his mind stirreth, so that he understandeth the solution of the thought of the song which Pistis Sophia hath uttered, come forward and say it. Andrew came forward and said, my Lord, this is concerning what thy light power hath prophesied aforetime through David.
In patience I tarried for the Lord. He hath given heed unto me, and ear unto my weeping. He hath led up my soul out of the pit of misery, and out of the filthy mire. He hath set my feet on a rock, and made straight my steps. He hath put in my mouth a song of praise for our God. Many will see and be afraid, and hope in the Lord. It came to pass then, drink, when Andrew had set forth the thought of Pistis Sophia, that the first mystery said unto him, Well said, Andrew, blessed one.
Oh, man, this just goes on and on and on and on and on.
I know, it drags.
Yeah. And he continued again in the discourse, and said unto the disciples, These are all adventures which have befallen Pistis Sophia. It came to pass then, drink, when I had led her to the region which is below the 13th aeon, and was about to go unto the light and depart from her, that she said unto me,
O light of light, thou wilt go to the light and depart with me, and tyrant Adamas will know that thou hast departed from me, and will know that my Saviour is not at hand, and he will come again to this region. He and all his rulers who hate me and self-willed also will bestow power unto his lion-faced emanation, so that they all will come and constrain me altogether, and take my whole light from me, in order that I may become powerless and again without light. Now therefore, O light of my light, take from them the power of their light, so that they may not be able to constrain me from now on.
It came to pass then, drink, when I heard these words which Pistis Sophia had spoken unto me, that I answered her, saying, My Father who hath emanated me hath not yet given me commandment to take their light from me, but I will seal the regions of self-willed, and of all his rulers who hate thee, because thou hast had faith in the light. And I will also seal the regions of Adamas and of his rulers, so that none of them may be able to fight with thee until their time is completed, and the season cometh, that my Father give me commandment to take their light from them.
And thereafter I said again unto her, Hearken, that I may speak with thee about their time. When this which I have said unto thee will come to pass, it will come to pass when the 3 times are completed. Pistis Sophia answered and said unto me, O light, by what shall I know when the 3 times will take place, so that I may be glad and rejoice that this time is near for thee to bring me to my region, and moreover rejoice therein that the time is come when thou wilt take the light power from all them which hate me, because I have had faith in the light. And I answered and said unto her, If thou seest the gate of the treasury of the great light, which is opened after the 13th aeon, and that is the left one, when the gate is open, then are the 3 times completed.
Pistis Sophia again answered and said, O light, by what shall I know? For I am in this region, that gate is opened. And I answered and said unto her, When that gate is opened, they who are in all the eons will know because of the great light, which will obtain in all their regions. But see, I have now settled that they shall venture no ill against thee, until the 3 times are completed. And thou wilt have the power of going down into their 12 eons, when it pleaseth thee, and also of returning and going into thy region, which is below the 13th eon, and in which thou art now. But thou wilt not have the power of passing through the gate of the height, which is in the 13th aeon, so as to enter thy region whence thou didst come down. Moreover, if then the 3 times are completed, self-willed, and all his rulers will again constrain thee to take thy light from thee, being enraged against thee, and thinking that thou hast imprisoned his power in the chaos, and thinking that thou hast taken its light from it, he will then be embittered against thee, to take from thee thy light, in order that he may send it down into the chaos, and it may get down to that emanation of his, so that it may be able to come up out of the chaos and go to his region Adamas will attempt this, but I will take all thy powers from him, and give them unto thee, and I will come to take them. Now, therefore, if they constrain thee at that time, then sing praises to the light, and I will not delay to help thee, and I will quickly come unto thee to the regions which are below thee, and I will come down to their regions to take their light from them, and I will come to this region whither I have removed thee, and which is below the 13th eon, until I bring thee to thy region whence thou art come. What the fuck was that?
I don't know, but there's a lot of innuendo in there if you search for it. It came to pass then, drink, when Pistis Sophia had heard me say these words unto her, that she rejoiced with great joy. And I removed her to the region which is below the 13th eon. I went to the light and departed from her. And all these adventures the first mystery told to the disciples, that they should come to pass for Pistis Sophia. And he sat on the Mount of Olives, narrating all these adventures in the midst of the disciples. And he continued again and said unto them, and it came to pass, drink again after this, while I was in the world of men, and sat in the way that is in this region, which is the Mount of Olives, before my vesture was sent unto me, which I had deposited in the 24th mystery from the interior, but the first from the exterior, which is the great uncontainable. The first from the exterior, which is the great uncontainable. Okay. They don't know how language works.
No.
In which I am enwrapped, and before I had gone to the height to receive my second vesture, while I sat with you in this region, which is the Mount of Olives, that the time was completed, of which I had said to Pistis Sophia, Adamas and all his rulers will constrain thee.
Yeah.
Sounds like a bunch of bullshit to me.
Yeah. This makes me want to, and I'll have to do this at some point, get on Google Earth and take a look at the the Nag Hammadi caves and places like that, and see if there's not like 12 caves or something where these rituals would have been performed. And this is they're sitting there and they're reading this, and they're going to be like, now you're going to be Pistis Sophia, and you're going to take these mushrooms, go in this cave, hang out, and then when the sun comes through the opening of the cave, that's the light and all that, and of course by that time you're tripping balls, and it just, whoa, dude. I wonder if anybody has done that. I mean, that seems to make sense.
Yeah, it makes more sense than the text, yeah.
Oh boy. Chapter 77. Boy, that's a long opening paragraph.
I'll take it from there. I'll take it after that one.
It came to pass then, drink, when that time came on, and I was in the world of men, sitting with you in this region, which is the Mount of Olives, that Adamas looked down out of the 12 aeons, and looked down at the regions of the chaos, and saw his demon power, which is in the chaos, that no light at all was in it, because I had taken its light from it. And he saw it, that it was dark, and could not go to his region, that it is to the 12 moons. 12 moons. Thereon, Adamas again remembered Pistis Sophia, and became most exceedingly wroth against her, thinking that it was she who had imprisoned his power in the chaos, and thinking that it was she who had taken its light from it. And he was exceedingly embittered. He piled wrath on wrath, and emanated out of himself a dark emanation. Must have had Taco Bell. And another, and chaotic and evil. Definitely Taco Bell, the violent one, so as through them to harass Pistis Sophia. And he made a dark region in his region. Boy, that sounds pretty kinky. So as to constrain Sophia therein. And he took many of his rulers, they pursued after Sophia, in order that the two dark emanations which Adamas had emanated might lead her into the dark chaos which he made, and constrain her in that region, and harass her, until they should take her whole light from her, And Adamas should take the light from Pistis Sophia and give it to the two dark, violent emanations. And they should carry it to the great chaos which is below and dark, and cast it into his dark power, which is chaotic, if perchance it might be able to come to his region, because it had become exceedingly dark, for I had taken its light power from it.
Or fed at Taco Bell.
Yeah.
It came to pass then, drink, when they pursued after Pistis Sophia, that she cried out again and sang praises to the light, since I said unto her, If thou shalt be constrained and sing praises unto me, I will come quickly and help thee. It came to pass then, drink, when she was constrained, and I sat with you on this region, that is on the Mount of Olives, that she sang praises to the light, saying, O light of lights, I will have faith in thee. Save me from all these rulers who pursue after me and help me. That in sooth they may never take from me my light, as the lion-faced power did. For thy light is not with me, and thy light stream to save me. Nay, Adamas is the more enraged against me, saying unto me, Thou hast imprisoned my power in the chaos. Now therefore, O light of lights, if I have done this and have imprisoned it, if I have done any injustice at all to that power,
or if I had constrained it, as it hath constrained me, then let all these rulers who pursue after me take my light from me and leave me empty. And let foe Adamas pursue after my power and seize upon it and take my light from me and cast it into his dark power, which is in the chaos, and keep my power in the chaos. Now, therefore, O light, lay hold on me in thy wrath, and lift up thy power above my foes, who have lifted themselves up against me to the very end. Quicken me quickly. Okay? As thou hast said unto me, I will help thee. Jesus.
Yep. Isn't he one of the ones in on this conversation?
Yeah, something like
It
that.
came to pass then, when the first mystery had finished saying these words unto the disciples, that he said, Who hath understood the words which I have spoken? Let him come forward and set forth their solution. James came forward and said, My Lord, concerning this song which Pistis Sophia hath sung, thus thy light power hath prophesied aforetime through David in the 7th Psalm. O Lord my God, in thee I have hope. Free me from my pursuers and save me. That in sooth he may never steal away my soul as a lion without anyone to deliver and save. O Lord my God, if I have done this, if injustice is on my hands,
If I have requited those who requite me with evil, then let me fall down empty through my foes. And let the foe pursue after my soul and seize it, and trample my life to the ground, and lay my honor in the dust. Salah. Arise, O Lord, in thy wrath. Raise thyself up for the end of my foes. Arise, according to the commandment which thou hast commanded. It came to pass then, when the first mystery had heard James speak these words, he said, Well said, James, beloved. Which makes no sense to me, but whatever.
yet no, that's perfectly consistent. And the first mystery continued again, and said unto the disciples, It came to pass then, drink, when Pistis Sophia had finished uttering the words of this song, that she turned herself back to see whether Adamas and his rulers had turned back to go to their aeon. And she saw them, how they pursued after her. And she turned unto them and said unto them, Why pursue ye after me, and say, I should not have helped that the light should save me from you. Now therefore my vindicator is the light, and a strong one, but it is long-suffering until the time of which it hath said unto me, I will come and help thee, and it will not bring its wrath upon you always. And this is the time of which he hath spoken unto me.
Now therefore, if ye turn not back, and cease not to pursue after, then will the light make ready its power, and it will make itself ready in all its powers. And in its power hath it made itself ready, so that it may take your lights which are in you, and ye may become dark. And its power hath brought it to pass, so that it may take your power from you, and ye go to ground. And when Pistis Sophia had said this, she looked at the region of Adamas, and saw the dark and chaotic region, which he had made, and saw also the two dark, exceedingly violent emanations, which Adamas had emanated, in order that they might seize Pistis Sophia and cast her down into the chaos which he had made, and constrain and harass her in that region, until they should take her light from her. It came to pass then, when Pistis Sophia had seen those two dark emanations and the dark region which Adamas had made, that she feared and cried unto the light, saying,
O light, lo! Adamas the doer of violence is wrathful. He hath made a dark emanation, and he hath also emanated another chaos, and hath made another dark and chaotic one, and made it ready. Now therefore, O light, the chaos which he hath made, in order to cast me down therein, and take from me my light power, take then from him his own, and the plan which he hath devised to take my light, they are all to take his own from him, and the injustice which he hath spoken to take my light from me, take then all of his. These are the words which Pistis Sophia hath uttered in her song. Now therefore, who is sober in spirit, let him come forward and set forth the solution of these words, which Pistis Sophia hath uttered in her song.
Oh, boy.
These guys are tripping balls.
Yeah, they are. Martha again came forward and said, My Lord, I am sober in my spirit, and I understand the words which thou sayest. Now therefore give me commandment to set forth their solution in openness. And the first mystery answered and said unto Martha, I give thee commandment, Martha, to set forth the solution of the words which Pistis Sophia hath uttered in her song. And Martha answered and said, My Lord, these are the words which thy light power hath prophesied aforetime through David in the 7th Psalm, saying,
God is a righteous vindicator and strong and long-suffering, who bringeth not on his wrath every day. If ye turn not, he will whet his sword. He hath bent his bow and made it ready. And he hath made ready for him instruments of death. He hath made his arrows for those who will be burnt up.
Behold, injustice hath been in labor, hath conceived wrong, and hath brought forth iniquity. It hath digged a pit and hollowed it out. It will fall into a hole which it hath made. It is wrong. Its wrong will return on its own head, and its injustice will come down on its palate. When Martha had said this, the first mystery, which looketh without, said unto her, Well said, finally, Martha, blessed one. Oh,
yay!
Yay.
80s and 81's a nice round number.
Yeah. Something like that.
That's it for this episode of the Atheist in the Trailer Park podcast. You can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Stitcher, as well as just about anywhere else podcasts can be found. Many of the episodes are also on YouTube. Follow the show on Twitter. @TParkAtheist is the show's Twitter handle. It's on Facebook at facebook.com/trailerparkatheist.com. If you happen to like the podcast, please rate it on iTunes. If you'd like to support the podcast, there's a donate button on the show notes page. You can support it via Patreon at patreon.com/TNTucker. Thanks for listening.
Say goodnight, Fuzz-Nuts.
All I know is this violates every canon of respectable broadcasting.
Damned cat.